if we're looking at the sum and difference of different surds, we just have to make sure that they're of the same type, so that they have the same kind of variable or weight per se for each one. So let me show you an example. So we have the square root of 48 plus the square root of 75 minus the square root of 27. So we can't put these together because they're not all talking about the same item, right? They technically all have a weight of 1, but that doesn't really help us. So what we're going to do is we're going to transform these, and I'll show you how they actually have common parts. The square root of 48 we can think of as the square root of 3 times 16. And this is the same as the square root of 3 times 25. And this is the same thing as the square root of 3 times 9. Well, notice they all have the square root of 3 in common. Now, from this step, you could convert like I did in the previous problems, or you could see automatically that I have squares. Well, 16 on the inside is the same thing as a 4 on the out. And a 25 on the inside is the same thing as a 5 on the outside. And a 9 on the inside is the same thing as a 3 on the outside. And then we're left still with our square roots of 3. Well, now we can just simply go ahead and add them, because they're each talking about I have 4 square roots of 3 and I had 5 square roots of 3, but then I take 3 away. So you would end up with 6 square roots of 3. So this is trying to get a common unit, a common weight involved to where we can actually add and subtract them from each other. Now the last example is we've got the square root of 28 minus the square root of 24 plus the square root of 175. So let's check this out. The best thing that we can do is we can call this the square root of 7 times 4. And this is the square root of 6 times 4. And this is the square root of 7 times 25. Make sure I read that all right. Okay. All right. So now what we're going to go ahead and do here is we can see that these actually have something in common to each other. We can call this right here 2 times the square root of 7. This is 5 times the square root of 7. But this we can only say as 2 times the square root of 6. Well, we can't combine that because they're not talking about the same amount. So these two together make 7 square roots of 7, and this is minus 2 square root of 6. And at this point, you are completely finished because you're not talking about the same thing anymore, right? So you have simplified it as much as possible.